President Tinubu on June 12, 2023, delivered a powerful Democracy Day speech, paying tribute to democracy heroes and outlining his vision for Nigeria's future. The president expressed sympathy over fuel subsidy removal, with promises to substantial investments in critical sectors to improve citizens' quality of life. He also emphasized the importance of democracy, the protection of democratic institutions, and the pursuit of social and economic justice in Nigeria. For many years, Nigerians have yearned for good and quality democratic government. After the June 12, 1993 annulment by the then President Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida, democracy has suffered a setback. But with the new president at the helm of affairs, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, are we likely to enjoy good dividends of democracy? Anyways, congratulations to Senator Godswill Akpabio on his emergence as the winner of the 10th Assembly. Akpabio pulled 63 votes to defeat Yari, who garnered 46 votes. I am joined by Comrade Francis Abayomi to discuss these developments, its political matters, and I am Michael Adekunle. Like I said earlier on, I told you Francis Abayomi is right here in the studio with us to dissect important issues in the country. Of course, we have diverse issues and we'll be treating them today accordingly. You're welcome, Francis.
Thanks for having me once again.
All right, it's my pleasure. Yeah. All right, it's 30 years after the annulment of June 12 election, and it's very, very important we keep remembering the legacies the late Chief MK Abiola left behind. We have a new president, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who delivered a speech on the 12th of June this year. That was on Monday. Very powerful delivery by Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Now, what legacy would you say the late Chief MK Abiola left behind?
Well, I think to begin with, I think it's quite remarkable, and it's also define a very copious chapter in the political history of Nigeria that one of the major actors for the realization of the June 12 mandate that was annulled on June 12, 1993 happens to be the one that is in the saddle on the 30th anniversary of June 12. That is President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Irrespective of misgivings or reservations concerning the last election, I think it is, for me, it is remarkable. This is how history plays itself out, to also remind us that, look, at some critical point, in the history of a nation, you get to a point where you need to reflect, back and see how far we have gone. I think the speech by the president, one shouldn't have expected something, lesser than what he has done in terms of making promises. As we know, talk is cheap. But this is one president who should be held to account, on the basis of what he has, his speeches, particularly the one he gave yesterday. This is one president that must be held to account, not just because he's the president of the country, because he has been one that has been around, since the June 12 struggle. He's been governor of Lagos State. He's been leader of a political party. He's been the national leader. Here is he, today as the president.
He was also part of, he was also a member of the SDP.
Yes, yeah. and he was also a former senator. So I think the promises made by the president in terms of telling Nigerians that they will benefit maximally now in terms of democratic dividends is something for me that should not be taken with levity. In fact, Nigerians should hold this president to account. Nigerians should demand that, look, this democracy works for us. Nigerians should, not just be waiting for another election. Well, this is the time Nigerians should be active. If we have been active before, we need to be more active now by demanding for what is just, for demanding for our right, for also demanding for good, equitable governance from this administration. Whatever I was telling a friend yesterday, whatever is going, in fact, this is a test for all activists, all democratic, in fact, those of us who participated in the June 12 struggle. This is the time to tell the whole world now that, we are up to what we have been doing. I expect Nigerians to stage more protests on the streets if no one aggrieved. I expect Nigerians to be more vociferous in terms of demanding accountability, in terms of demanding that, we have lesser incidents of corruption. So this administration, led by Bola Ahmed Tinubu, should be a defining moment for Nigeria. That's the way I look at it. Not just on the basis of the speech he made, but that we cannot allow governance, to go on the path of which we have seen. Look at the level of corruption we are beginning to hear from the last administration. So I think we can't continue on that path. This administration also has inherited what I want to call a challenge. It must hold those ones who have been alleged to have perpetrated corruption to account. In fact, the first test for Tinubu is to see how, he can demand for,
now, let me just cut you here. We are still going into that. Now, I just want to know the significance of that day, because it's of course it's a time to reflect. Of course, many people died in that struggle, and we used to celebrate it on the 29th of May. That was during the former president Olusegun Obasanjo, former president Goodluck Jonathan's regime. And later it was moved from 29th of May to 12th of June. Now, what can you say about that? Why did the president change that date?
Well, in fact, that is one major thing Buhari did, that irrespective of his shortcomings, for recognizing June 12th as a Democracy Day, for me, was a bold step. Remember how Obasanjo, dilly-dally on this matter, they couldn't do anything. How Jonathan also was unable to be definite, even when he came out to say he recognized Akpabi's contribution. But what the popular demand then was that June 12th should be declared a public holiday, more so that a section of this country, Southwest, have already recognized that date as a Democracy Day. I think Buhari took a step further by declaring June 12th as Democracy Day. But for some of us who were active participants of that era, will have wished that something else should be done. In fact, the changing of baiting at the national level, swearing of president, governors, should be on the 12th of June. So to further give credence, to the the relevance of that day, to further confirm that, look, this was the date Nigeria, actually broke with military dictatorship, and embrace, democracy as a system of governance. So, and I think it will not be too late to see that done, maybe, in the years ahead, so that we have June 12, rather than having swearing on 29, just 12 days later, 14 days later, you are having Democracy Day. I would have preferred a situation where swearing of new governors, new president should be on the, so that by doing that, the history, of June 12 will have been cemented perfectly, so that, children that are growing up, it will be easy now to explain to them why Nigerian president is sworn in on the 12th, of June. So I think that would be a step further we are still going to push for. But to answer your question, really, I think the significance of June 12 is such that nobody could ever wish away democracy again in this country. Because when you remember June 12, remember people made contributions. People sacrificed their lives. Youth of my age then, those of us in the university at that particular point in time, a lot of us, lost years, because as a result of the struggle for June 12, for revolution on June 12, that started 1993, it went ahead until 1999. You know, 7 years. There are youth in the country who invested solid good years, into demanding that democracy, should be installed in this country. So, as a matter of fact, we cannot now begin to quantify how people made their contributions. You saw people being shot, in the city of Lagos. I remember, was it not July 4, 1993, that Abacha was coming to Lagos and a lot of people were killed? Some of us managed to survive that day. A lot of people were killed, picked up in the city of Lagos, and they were beaten to death. We have journalists who up to today couldn't find them. There is quite a number, of people who left this country.
Even my dad almost got killed.
Exactly. So
I could remember what happened.
I'm sure the history of June 12. A lot of people have written on June 12, from their perspective. And I was discussing with a friend sometimes ago. We still need to do more. Those who actually participated, and you also know that this June 12 struggle also meant a lot to the West African sub-region. Because it was because we had democracy in Nigeria. Are you getting me? That is why the rate at which people have been toppling government all over the West African sub-region, even when we still have few of them now. But you can see the way they are challenging them. Because we have democracy in Nigeria. A Nigerian president can tell, those who stage a coup in another country that, look, you need to stop it. It was because we had democracy in Nigeria. That was why when election was conducted in Gambia, and their former president, what is his name now, I cannot remember, was trying to toy with that election, that, Buhari went there and told him, we cannot do that. But if it was a military dictator here, are you getting me? Because Nigeria is a country that virtually all countries in the West African sub-region, or in fact in Africa, look up to. So if we don't have democracy here, are you getting me? That also will have meant that democracy in part of Africa, will remain, an issue that people will still be fighting for. But whether you like it or not today, before you stage a coup in any part of West Africa, you think about Nigerian government, because if the man in Abuja says no, you can be rest assured that the global community also is likely going to say no. But imagine if we don't have democracy in Nigeria, that means some of these, power-hungry guys in khaki across Africa, they will have been staging coup and nothing will have happened, because the big brother, which is Nigeria, is also not operating a democracy. And I think that is significant, not just for us, but for the black race. Are you getting me? So I think, it's a day we should celebrate. But to also go back to what I said earlier, I look forward to a day when Nigerian president will be taking hold of office on the 12th of June. So that it will be symbolic and it will become something that it will be easy, to explain to those that are coming from,
behind.
Yes, behind.
Now, so far so good. President, Bola Ahmed Tinubu has been up and doing since his assumption in office. And when you look at the way people have been giving him kudos, commending his efforts, we still have some Nigerians that knocking him out on certain policies. Now, recently he signed the student loan bill into law, which has been pending for a very long time. Talking about the electricity bill also that they signed into law. It seems we now have a president that is working.
Well, that will depend on individual, how you looked at them. You see, because the last president performed so poorly, it was an abysmal performance by Buhari. In fact, Buhari for me defined what a president of a nation should not be. Nigeria. So I will have, I said it during the election that anybody that is coming will be seen as a messiah.
Because
by
of the poor performance of the
Buhari took Nigeria,
president.
Buhari took governance to a level, that no one expected. The government was clannish, was parochial. Are you getting me? Name it, the government was divisive. Are you getting me? Yeah. So Buhari exit gave a lot of people, the confidence that governance will be salvaged. And that is why most of the thing this president is doing. I'm not one of those who will give him kudos for now because, look, I have seen a lot about governance in this country to see that, look, signing a law is not about implementation. We want to see that student loan, because I was asking a friend yesterday, I didn't know when this law was passed, but it doesn't really matter. If we can have it, fine. The electricity bill, I thought Buhari signed it. I wonder why no Tinubu is signing it again. But what is important is, let us see how these things will be
implementation.
So
implementation
in terms of
is
kudos,
the most important thing.
In terms of kudos, I don't think this is the time to give anybody kudos. And that is the challenge we have with governance in this country. We turn our leaders to KBAC so soon. Leaders are elected to come and serve people. You start giving them kudos right from the first day. Look, these guys are meant to work. And I think we need a conscious block of the society to tell our people. And that's why our people are taken for granted. Our people, leaders, they demand kudos from us. Are you getting me? Even when they don't deserve it. And that is why you find out that the level of hypocrisy in this country is alarming. Virtually all those who praised Buhari for 7.5 years were the same people celebrating when he left. I'm telling you, those that we know who defended everything Buhari did, they were the same people who were calling themselves survivor of his administration. I think this new administration should be allowed to work. I don't see anything worthy of celebration but again, those who are celebrating also have a right, because we have a democracy. People can feel differently. But my own position is that, look,
people can feel differently.
Differently. Yes.
I love that statement.
People can feel differently.
Because you can compare Tinubu with the past president of the country.
In fact, and you wouldn't have compared even if it was Peter Obi.
That took 6 months to get his cabinet ready into place.
Even if it had been Peter Obi or Atiku, I'm telling you, Nigeria will be celebrating.
They would have done better. The two candidates would have done better than Buhari.
I'm telling you, Buhari, I began by telling you that Buhari took governance to almost 2.0. Forget about building bridges here. Look, when you build bridge, you didn't pluck down money from the tree. You either took loan or used our resources to build a bridge or construct a road. Are you getting me? Those are the things you are supposed to be doing. Are you getting me? When you commission a project, those are the statutory things you are supposed to be doing.
To do as a president, you need to monitor it.
This man took governance to a level where life was not secured. People will be killed in any part of the country. This man will be in Aso Rock. He will not even be bothered. Are you getting me? We have a first family for the first time who don't care when anybody is kidnapped. The president before Buhari,
Jonathan.
Jonathan. The wife was even crying when some people, though, in fact, we were abusing him that he was crying the way he was crying. But you had a regime where neither the president or the first lady bothered when people were being slaughtered. So it was that bad. Are you getting me? So, and I think now that we have a new president, what we should be doing is to make demand and also to monitor. Are you getting me? And to demand for
our rights.
Yes, for our rights.
Social amenities.
This student loan thing, for me, I want to see how stakeholders will engage it. Let us dissect it.
Okay.
When are they going to? Who are the beneficiaries? So that this loan also will not be accessible alone by children of those who are well-to-do in the society. Is it going to be inclusive? Who are the people that? Those are the things.
Who are to benefit
exactly. From rather than just going ahead, clapping for them or something of that nature, we should begin to ask questions. Remember, the social investment program that go up over 1 trillion of naira. In fact, the actual amount that was invested in that program, nobody can ascertain it today. But can you tell me that you know people who benefited from those cash, conditional transfer?
I didn't benefit from
I'm telling you, a lot of people.
Did you benefit from
we've been asking that question that, look, so we hope this implementation of this will not also go, so that you now begin to ask, who are the students benefiting from this? So those are the kind of things. We need a very conscious civil society platform that can engage this government, so that implementation of some of these policies, will begin to take maximum effect.
All right.
Yeah. Thanks.
Thank you so much. Let's quickly go on a short break. After so much noise, so much drama in the House, I'm talking about at the National Assembly, we now have a new leader, God's will, Akpabio. Congratulations to him. But before we talk about this, I'll quickly go on a short break. I'll be back. You're welcome back to the program. It's still Political Matters on Allnews Nigeria. Still with me is Comrade Francis Abayomi. All right, Francis, I just talked about the senator-elect, God's will, Akpabio. I don't know if the House has made the right choice. Of course, there have been Ula Balu, controversy in the House before he was elected as the leader of the House of Assembly. What kind of style are you expecting from, I'm talking about governance, are you expecting from Senator God's will, Akpabio? We had in the past the likes of Bukola Saraki during Jonathan's regime that's divided the House. We had Ahmed Lawal that was dancing to the tune of the former president Muhammadu Buhari. Now, what kind of leadership style or governance are you expecting from God's will, Akpabio, looking at his antecedents as a governor or former governor in Akwa Ibom?
Well, it will be necessary for us to look at the background before we look at the problem or some of the prospect, or the likely prospect. You see, a National Assembly, a body of legislature, I think by the definition of their role, a leadership at that level supposed to be a democratic process that will be done in a very solemn manner. I am one of those who are worried as to all the razzmatazz around
National Assembly,
the President of Senate,
House of Representatives as well.
See, because at the end of the day, what I see in all these processes, deep-seated corruption. No, when you look at what has happened, if you've been to Abuja or somebody in Abuja reporting to you, we have not witnessed this level of open display of opulence by those who want to be the leaders of the legislative chambers. Billboard around Abuja, billboard on your way to the airport. This is a selection that's supposed to be done by those who are elected. And those billboards were not erected for fun. There is the level of corruption that this process has thrown up. Are you getting me? We also impart on the style that you are likely going to see. And I'm saying this because of what we have seen in the past. You see, you don't turn the chambers of National Assembly to a place where you give the impression to the president or the executive that they can control. Are you getting me? What we have seen is, the executive trying to impose. Are you getting me? Rather than, in fact, you can do it. That's what we call lobbying. But this kind of open lobbying where you insist that this is the person that must be president or something of that nature. You were just talking about the last leadership that were, that compromised, the independence of the House, and it was more or less a mouthpiece. So what do you now expect? Are you now telling me we are not likely going to see that in this, where there is need for cooperation between the legislature and the executive? But what is more important is check and balances. We need a legislature that can stand on its own, that can demand, are you getting me, that the executive you know, preside over governance in such a way that it will be in conformity with rule of law and established procedures. But where you don't have independence, you know, in the legislature, you are not likely going to see that. And I'm not too optimistic. In fact, I'm skeptical about the leadership that has just emerged. It's likely going to take the pattern of the last one. Are you getting me? Where whatever, and that is why we have accumulated so much loan in this country, you know, during Buhari's era. You know, there was no, look at what is happening with central bank governor. If we have a legislature that is up to, we are not likely going to see a central bank governor saying he wants to be president of a country.
While in office.
While in office. You know, teaming up with a ruling political party. It's because we don't have the check and balances. Are you getting me? We're not likely going to have a situation where a minister of aviation, you know, will perpetrate such kind of infamy by what we have just witnessed or read about Nigerians. It's because of no independence. Are you getting me? These guys were just dancing to the tune of the president and his appointees, which are the ministers. And I hope that from what I have seen, with this, it must be this, it must be this, and the kind of politics they have played. You know, in fact, the campaign director of the newly elected president of Senate, Ndume, came on air publicly to say that the whole process has been monetized. That in fact, it is the highest bidder that is going to. No, that is the foundation of
money politics.
Yes, that is the foundation of what we are likely going to see. In fact, for me, that has defined what to expect from the, you know. But again, yes, like I did say in one of our interactions. Okay. Those in government, whether at the level of legislature or executive, shouldn't take us for a ride. We must have a strong society that can demand. Are you getting me? For our right, that can demand that governance, you know, should be in conformity with rule and order. And that is why when you begin to see what we have witnessed, you know the robust civil society, a robust platform of civil society. In fact, my fear, the first thing the first impression I have is that all the corruption that have been exposed under Buhari, I see a situation where there will be cover-up by this administration, with the emergence of somebody like Akpabio. Because if you know his antecedent, his case with the EFCC, if you know what also happened during the NDDC thing at the level of the Senate, you know, he was at the center of it. And that is the man that has emerged today. You know, when you have a corrupt system, are you getting me? Like our own, you will expect that the redeeming possibility will be that you have people who are detached from this corruption. But unfortunately, we are having people that are immersed in this corruption. Forget about whether they have been trying or not. The fact that you are indicted in the same, climb, some of these guys shouldn't be the one to lead. Are you getting me? Once you are indicted, you have cases with the EFCC and you are not being discharged. I don't know if it is ideal, but that is what we have in Nigeria. There's nothing anybody can do about it. They are the one there. But we have the right to also talk on some of these things. Yes. So I don't have my level of optimism is it's very low. But I expect them to perform if we have a strong civil society. But I won't be disappointed if it turned out the other way because of the foundation. You know, that is the point I wanted to make.
All right, it is the rise and fall of the controversial CBN governor, Emefiele Godwin. Wow. There is a man that unleashed serious suffering on the nation, and Nigerians are seriously rejoicing on what is currently going on now. Emefiele has been arrested. Right now in the custody, is currently in the custody of the DSS, which is currently as well being questioned on certain misappropriation of funds. Now, what do you expect from it?
I just told you earlier that, look, this is the same man who was also spending money. We saw cars that were branded. He wanted to be No, in fact, it was a presidential, aspirant.
That's right.
No, he didn't come out openly to say it, but he never denied it.
Yeah.
People were campaigning on his behalf. A central bank governor. So, and look at the NAIRA redesign. How Nigeria
suffered,
but the president kept on defending. In fact,
the
president came out in the last broadcast, so let us know that it was his policy. Yeah. In fact, when that was what Buhari said, and that policy is his own.
And he said there was no going back,
And I think there's a problem with us in this country. It is easy for us now to blame Emefiele. But Emefiele was not elected by Nigeria. Emefiele was appointed by the president. The person that should take the blame for what Emefiele did, who also came out to address us, was Buhari. But here we are now, Buhari is too big. Nobody can talk about it.
Immunity is playing out there.
No, he doesn't have immunity again now. He doesn't have immunity now as president.
As the former president.
No, he doesn't have immunity. Immunity is conferred on him by corruption, by those who cannot call him to order. But you see, there's a false guy, Emefiele. Let us restrict ourselves to him.
Okay.
He has been arrested, fine. But you will recall that even before Buhari left office, this same DSS that just arrested him, there was a court order against the DSS.
Yes, arrest him. Yeah.
The first question I want to ask, has the court order been vacated? Now he has been arrested. His lawyer will go to court now to contest the law. Why are they arresting him when there's a court order? But the point is this. If Emefiele has done something wrong that we all know, you see the DSS that will be arresting him, the DSS, we have the EFCC, we have the police. If somebody...
We have ICPC.
Yes, if somebody, did what Emefiele has done, I don't think the DSS, except the DSS want to tell us now that, because you remember, while Buhari was in office, Emefiele was accused of financing terrorism.
Yeah.
Maybe that is what DSS wants to do.
Money laundering. Yeah.
No, DSS has no business in money laundering. We have the FCC, and this is the part of cover-up I'm talking about. I'm trying to drag at something. Don't be surprised in the next few months you will not hear anything about this again. You see, because when you don't do the right thing, there could be two reasons for that. The reason could be that you are working to an answer. You already know where you are heading to. Look at what happened to Magu. Magu was removed. He was
former EFCC
Did you hear anything again today? So I said, look, all this thing around Emefiele, I hope is not a way to also cover up all the big mess. Just take the fall guy, create an impression that we have gotten the enemy of the people, simply because a lot of people are offended by what he did during the NAIRA redesign. They know Nigeria will be angry with him. They picked him. Oh, Nigeria will be, oh, good. And you will not hear anything. All the billions of Naira, all the things about duties, everything. Are you getting me? We might not get to hear if that guy is with DSS. And those that are supposed to do the investigation, the EFCC. So look, we should by now, I think we should know how those in government in Nigeria take us for a ride. They create all kinds of drama around an issue just to cover up things. Somebody like Emefiele should be, in fact, there should be a public inquiry concerning his tenure so that they will televise it and let Nigerians know. Public trial. But I bet you they will never do that because they know that if they allow Emefiele talk, there will be a problem. So it is better for them to get the DSS to arrest him, put him in Gao. Before you know it now, some people will be begging for him or something. And all the things he has done, in fact, if they don't even want to beautify, they will say they have recovered 110 billion naira from him and everything.
Will die down. All right, thank you so much, Comrade Francis Akpabio. It's been a wonderful day on this edition of Political Matters, and I really appreciate you for coming.
Thanks so much.
And I hope you attend our call next time.
I will.
Right,
always a delight to be here.
All right, on this note, we say goodbye to you on today's edition of Political Matters. Join us next time on the same platform. Michael Adekunle remains my name. Bye.